fastest show in sports.
Greetings, true believers, and welcome back into the fastest show in sports. I am your host and your ringmaster, Ed Berliner. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we got a long way to go and a short time to get there, so let's go ahead and get started. First off, in college football. The University of North Carolina has made a tremendous amount of news here in the last several months, and all because of one man, Bill Belichick, and how he has changed, for better or worse, the North Carolina Tar Heels football program. But there is more to what is going on here than simply just Belichick. He is part of what's happening, but he is also part of a very troubling concept that is right now going on at North Carolina, because it would seem as if North Carolina is just one of many in the country right now who spend so much money on college football, they've got to find more money. And it's where they find that money that is troubling.
We've learned UNC football general manager Michael Lombardi visited Saudi Arabia on a fundraising trip before the Tar Heels season kicked off last month. The university's new vice chancellor for communications, Dean Stoyer, confirmed the trip to WRAL. Stoyer called it, quote, exploratory, and said it was at the invitation of the Saudi hosts and it was funded by them as well. Saudi Arabia has invested heavily in sports in our country already. However, if UNC did reach some sort of deal, WRAL sports investigative reporter Brian Murphy says there could be negative reactions to it.
This is a regime that is very oppressive in many ways. And so there's even become a term for it, sportswashing, which is where they're using their money to buy influence in the world of sports in hopes of, doing PR, public relations work on behalf of the entire country. I think would certainly draw a lot of concern and certainly a lot of questions.
The soaring costs of college athletics has led many universities to explore non-traditional avenues for more revenue, including private equity.
This is troubling. Now let's try and separate for a moment the fans of North Carolina athletics, specifically football. We're not talking about doing anything that would be detrimental to the football program, and we understand that people out there just love your college football. But this is something that needs to be looked at and needs to be acted on. The government of Saudi Arabia has been taking part in the sports washing concept now for some time. In that, they go out and do wonderful things in sports and make sports fans love them for their money. Things like Live Golf. They've been part of international tennis, Formula One as well, and so many others. It gives them public relations. It gives them marketing. It gives them a way to say, hey, we're really a bunch of good guys out here, and we're going to go ahead and help your sport by investing in your sport. But that's just the facade here. The Saudis are one of the most abusive human rights countries in the world today. These are the people that imprison and kill journalists. They killed Adnan Khashoggi. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, go look it up. Because the Saudis killed him. They cut up his body into pieces because he was speaking against the Saudi government. They are horrendously repressive when it comes to women, people of different sexual connotations in their country. These are the people who will punish, who will kill, who will execute their own people simply for not following the government or not following a certain religion as they say it will be, as they say it should be. This is dangerous, people. Open your eyes. Look at what's happening here. The mere fact that Lombardi met with them and even considered the possibility of taking their money is abhorrent. It's dangerous. It's destructive. It basically puts blood on the hands if they were to take the money. Now, to be fair, they haven't taken any money yet, at least none that we know of. But if North Carolina were to accept this kind of money, that's blood money. There's blood on their hands. North Carolina would immediately have blood on their hands if they took their money. Live Golf certainly does. So does the Women's Tennis Association. So does Formula One. They have blood on their hands, the blood of innocence, the blood of men, women, children, journalists, people who would like to live normal lives in Saudi Arabia but are not allowed to because of the government. This is an issue where somebody has got to hammer down. And to be honest, I don't know who can. First of all, North Carolina needs to have a little wherewithal of their own, a little self-respect, and say, there is no way in hell that we would ever take money from the Saudis. or any government that was looking to invest in us, and any government that has such rampant human rights violations. Why would we want to be associated with them? Why would we want them on our campus? Why would we want their money? Greed is the only reason why. Somebody at this level here in America has got to get involved here. Now, I don't know if the NCAA can even do it anymore. The NCAA is pretty much a toothless tiger when it comes to just about everything in college athletics. Well, certainly in college football and college basketball. But somebody's got to get a handle on this. Somebody has got to say that as a governing body of some sort, there is no way in hell you will take money from these people. We will vet every dime that walks in the door. And we will make sure that it doesn't bring this kind of ill repute to our member organizations. But see, that's Pollyanna-ish in my side. Because at the end of the day, if somebody were to say to an NCAA or somebody else, hey, we've got $10 billion that we are going to invest at a certain school, at a certain sport, would they turn it down? Doubtful. Nobody's turning down any money these days because the college athletics programs have done this to themselves. They have created this greedy black hole where there's so much money out there and the need for so much money. And now everybody's got to make more money and everybody's got to spend more money simply to compete in what used to be an amateur sport but is now nothing more than a minor league professional sport. They will take the money to be able to do it because they can't figure out a way to get it anywhere else. We've sucked the TV networks dry. The fans, we've asked them to pay through the nose, and they have. The sponsors are paying as much money as we ask. And the sponsors are basically saying that we need more in our return. Now we got to pay the players. Now we got to pay the coaches $8, $9, $10, $12, $13 million a year just to come in here and run an athletic program. It is insane where we have gone at this point. But there has to be some kind of legislation. There has to be some kind of stopping point. Let me pose this to the fan. Many of you will see this. Many of you will be angry at me simply for bringing it up. But I need to ask a simple question. If you are a fan of a college athletic program, maybe North Carolina, Penn State, Florida, UCLA, Washington, wherever. If you're a fan of, I don't want to go professional yet. Let me stay with college for just a second. If you're a fan and you're told that with an influx of this money, we can buy better players, we'll win that conference championship, we'll win more games, we'll contend for the national championship, we'll make sure that we're there in the conversation every single day, every single year, because we have an unlimited amount of money that we now have to draw from. If that's the case, if that money comes from a government like the Saudi Arabian government, one that whips women in public, one that executes people for their sexual beliefs, for the way they live their lives, one who kills journalists and didn't just kill him, but executed him, cut his body into pieces, and made sure it was never found again. Are you okay with that? Is that really okay? If you're told that this is what it's going to take to win a championship, you're going to have unlimited money, but you got to live with this. Are you okay with that? How can you be okay with that? But what about even the Saudi money is in the Women's Tennis Association? Are you happy about that? They're in Formula One. Hey, I get to watch another race. They're also in golf. I get to see my favorite golfers out on the course, and I get to see them win millions of dollars. Why in the name of sweet Jesus is that so important to you? Why can you not separate the two? Why can you not say, yes, I want my organization to be successful. I want to be a fan. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy victories, but I don't want to do it at the expense of somebody else's life. This is abhorrent, people. The mere fact that Michael Lombardi went to Saudi Arabia and even for the fraction of an instantaneous millisecond considered the possibility of taking Saudi Arabian money is abhorrent. It's evil. It's destructive. He could have done it just to see what it was. I mean, granted, the Saudis paid for it, but he's not the first one to go there. And with the unlimited amount of money that the Saudis have and other governments have like this, you know that there's other people, other organizations, other colleges that are going to be looking into tapping into that money because it's there and it's unlimited. But the mere fact to be associated with someone who would even think of being so gratuitously evil in getting money to win games based on human rights abuses, sexual abuses, is just I find myself just trying to make sense of it all. I honestly want to. I would love somebody. This is posted on YouTube. Get in the comments section. Get in there. Answer my question. Send an email to fastestshowinsports@gmail.com. Tell me why you're okay with this, or tell me why you're not. I hope to hear more of the latter than the former, that you're not happy with this, that you wouldn't want to do it, that you wouldn't accept it. But why? It's accepted right now, as I said, in Formula One, women's tennis, and in golf. It's accepted in so many other areas as well. Why should it be accepted in sports? How could you live with yourself? I mean, I couldn't live with myself. If I went to a game and my team was contending for the national championship, and I knew that a good amount of the money that was there came from a government that beats and whips its own people and that kills people for not believing in their way of government and their religion, I'd walk out. I couldn't live with that. So in essence of this, I asked North Carolina, how in the name of sweet Jesus can you live with it? Michael Lombardi, how can you live with it? How can you live with yourself? Bill Belichick, how can you live knowing that somebody you're associated with and you brought in and is now part of this is helping to bring in blood money to the program? How can you live with yourself? It's abhorrent. It's disgusting. It's despicable to even for 1 second consider Saudi Arabian money for a college athletic program, or for anything for that matter. Aren't we better than this? Shouldn't we be better than this? Goddamn right we should. We should be a lot better than this. And we shouldn't have let this kind of influence get involved in a country that supposedly speaks for the rights of everybody. Moving on. More international sports. The World Cup is coming to America, and it is one of the most fascinating, brilliant, beautiful sporting events every single time it's held. America gets a chance to shine on the World Cup soccer stage again. However, the possibility exists that those games, certain games played here in America, may never be played. And it has nothing to do with sports.
Trump doubling down on his threats to take away World Cup games from the Boston area.
He is also doubling down on his attacks on Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. Have a listen.
Yeah, well, Boston has a bad mayor who at least is a reasonable IQ person. Yeah, Boston, she's got 4 areas that are, wrong. And, somebody said, would we think about taking the World Cup away from Boston if they don't straighten it out? And the answer is yes, we have the right to do that with FIFA.
Mayor Wu telling us he does not have the right to do that. Our Jennifer Pignate live outside Gillette, where the matches will be played less than a year from now. Jennifer.
That's right, 30 miles south of Boston here at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Those matches will start in June. And Mayor Wu responding to President Trump today, saying that she is standing 10 toes down for Boston, reiterating that the city and the surrounding area is safe. And she will not bend to the president's wishes or threats. Yesterday in the Oval Office, the president was asked about a recent so-called street takeover in Boston, where a police car was set on fire and teens from Rhode Island arrested. President Trump responded that if the city has unsafe conditions, he would call FIFA to have World Cup matches removed. He previously suggested the same for Los Angeles and New York due to immigration protests there. Here's what Mayor Wu had to say on a podcast this morning regarding the president's comment.
Many, many, many months of planning now. Much of it is locked down by contract so that no single person, even if they live in the White House currently, can undo it.
World Cup host cities are contracted with FIFA, not decided by a country's leader, including President Trump, despite his close relationship with FIFA's president. Now, 7 matches are set to be played here at Gillette Stadium, again starting in June. Any contractual changes could face any legal issues.
What kind of a country are we living in where the President of the United States makes a unilateral decision that we're not going to have soccer games, we're not going to have soccer matches, the World Cup is not going to be in a certain area of this country because of nothing more than political revenge? That's what this is all about. A note to Donald Trump when it comes to your threat to remove 4 games from the Boston area in the World Cup. Do it. I dare you. I double dog dare you. I triple dog dare you. As a matter of fact, everybody should get on board and say, do it. Go ahead. Bring it on. And let's see what you got. Because it is absolutely incredibly stupid, ridiculous, nonsensical that a sitting president of the United States would get involved and use sports as a linchpin in what is nothing more than political revenge. Look, this is not about safety in the Boston area. It's not about safety anyplace. This is about the fact that the city of Boston, the nexus point, if you will, for these 4 matches, even though, as noted, the games are going to be played 25, 35 miles away in Foxborough, not even close to Boston. The point of it is that this is nothing more than political retribution. That's all. There's nothing about violence in the streets. Things happen, but Boston is safe. I lived in Boston for 4 years. It was one of the safest cities I ever lived in. It's also one of the nicest cities I've ever lived in. That was a long time ago, of course. It was 20 years ago. But I can tell you right now that this is ridiculous. What kind of a country are we living in right now? Where people are actually nodding their heads and going, yeah, Mr. Trump, go ahead, get in there. Take the World Cup away from Boston, damn it. Take it away from that nasty liberal Democrat, that mayor in Boston and all those liberals up there. Go ahead and do it. What the hell is wrong with us, people? I mean, this is... I find myself many times trying to sit and make some sense of this all. I try to find a reason why this is happening. The only reason it's happening is because Donald Trump has got his thumb up his ass, all upset about another Democrat. That's it. Has nothing to do with it. If this was in a Republican-controlled city or area, zip, not a thing. But he's using the World Cup, the games, the matches, as nothing more than a political pawn, and this shit has got to stop. We have got to fight against it in every single form. First of all, no, Donnie, you don't have the right to simply take away the World Cup. You can't just do that. You can go ahead and sit back in your chair in that over-grandized Oval Office of yours with all those ridiculously dripping, melting gold crap taped on the walls, but you can't take the games away. You can't change it. Now, there is a possibility. Trump is very close with Gianni Infantino, who is the president of FIFA. Now, it is possible that Trump can go to FIFA and his buddy G and say, let's move the matches. I need you to do this for me as a favor, because I'll help you down the road somewhere else. But this is a political favor between the two of us. Bullshit. Won't work. You know why? Infantino is more interested in the money. FIFA is one of the most corrupt organizations, sporting organizations, organizations, I was right the first time, on the planet Earth. They are rife with graft, human rights abuses around the world. They're the greediest SOBs you could possibly find, next to what used to be the NCAA. And of course, the International Olympic Committee is certainly not far behind. But FIFA is a corrupt, core, top to core to bottom organization. And when you're that sneaky, when you're that evil, the most important thing is the money. Infantino knows that by having it here in America, he is going to reap billions of dollars. He is going to help. And not only that, the cities such as Boston are going to get huge influxes from tourists. That's going to help them. They don't want it to disappear. And FIFA's not going to get rid of them. So, Donnie, come on and do your worst. Bring in the DOJ. Bring in anybody you want. Try and take away these World Cup matches from Boston. Smart people dare you, because we know we're not dealing with a smart person to begin with. It is not the cause of the United States government to get involved in a sporting event. This is out of your realm, buddy. You're way out of your waterline here. And there's a second thing that's a part of this, too. Trump and his people have already said many times over that when the World Cup comes to America, they are going to have Border Patrol and ICE agents there. They're going to be very tight on the World Cup venues. This involves people who are coming here, people who live in America, people who are worried. Look, they're deporting people who are actually American citizens. So an American citizen of Latina descent may go ahead and attend a World Cup match, and all of a sudden she finds themselves in jail and being deported. Even though they're an American citizen, it's happening right now. There's a fear factor being used here with the ICE raids and the World Cup and the possibility of deportations. The Trump government is doing this. And look, I wouldn't care if it was Republican, Democrat, Independent. It's wrong. It's completely wrong from top to bottom. You want to go after criminals? Go after criminals. But don't go after people coming to a sporting event, coming to a match to watch a game. That's a threat. It's nothing more than that. It is going to impact the World Cup. And it is going to impact the people who go. And it is going to create havoc at many of these World Cup venues when you have governmental interference there and you have ICE agents there. It's a game. It's a beautiful game. It's one that doesn't deserve to be used in this manner. It's wrong. No, it's just wrong. So please, Donnie, do your worst. Try to stop the World Cup matches from being held in the Boston area. While you're at it, do other cities as well. Bring it on. We can't wait to see this one because you're going to lose. You're going to lose every single time you do it. And again, it wouldn't make a difference. Republican, Democrat, Independent, I don't give a damn who's in office. I would fight just as hard against them as I am fighting hard right now. Stop using sports as your little baby leverage that you can use to whine and wheeze and throw your wankerism around here. Stop. Let's play the game. Moving on. Let's move on to Major League Baseball. But something that comes around Major League Baseball. Because it is obvious, if you don't know already, when you go to a sporting event, if you're a jackass, you're going to get found out. And if you're a jackass, you're going to get tossed.
A costly comeback. A Dodgers fan here for Game 2 was kicked out of American Family Field for swearing at a Brewers fan.
But only after she said they should call ICE on him. Sam Kramer's live in the newsroom. Sam, a lot has happened since last night.
Hi there, Ben and Mary. We've learned that Brewers fan was fired from one job and resigned from another, all because of that insult. The man she targeted, a U.S. Navy veteran, caught it all on camera.
From the get-go, Ricardo Fasano says he knew he was in enemy territory. In case he didn't, a leadoff home run confirmed that.
Cheering and, putting it in my face, that they scored because I'm the only Dodger fan there.
It's what happened later, though, that caught him by surprise.
They suddenly become very silent because we're winning. And I become loud and cheerful because the Dodgers are winning.
That's when he recorded this.
Why is everybody quiet? What is this? I'm sorry.
You know what? Let's call ICE.
Call ICE. Call ICE. I'm a U.S. citizen. We're veteran, baby girl. We're veteran. 2 wars. ICE is not going to do nothing to me. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
He says her words didn't settle in until later.
Let it out of baseball and took it out of cheering into some more personal, to a personal level, showed where her heart is, I believe. She showed us what she really thinks.
Fox 6 has learned the woman shown is Shannon Kobylarczyk. Make-A-Wish Wisconsin confirmed she resigned from her position on their board effective immediately. The State Bar of Wisconsin showed she worked as an attorney for Manpower Group. Wednesday, the company commented on Fasano's Instagram post showing the video that she's no longer an employee after an internal investigation. Fasano says the outcome is what it is.
Did I wish that on her? Probably not. I don't really care what happens to her, and whether she gets fired or not. That's none of my business. But there's consequences for people's actions.
Oh, we got a lot to unpack here. First of all, I got to question this whole thing about somebody getting ejected from a game because of swearing. Oh my goodness, you mean there's actually swearing at sporting events? I never would have known that. Are you kidding? I mean, I have been to every single type of sporting event that I can possibly imagine. And every time I go, there is creative swearing. I'm seriously writing it down sometimes going, I got to remember that one. Okay, that was good. The use of the 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 197 letter words that are really creative happen at every single event, and fans go at it all the time, and most of the time it's all just thrown back and forth and everybody forgets it and it's goodbye. But sometimes it gets a little out of hand. I mean, fans going after each other has been happening since time immemorial at games. And I will tell you that even I'm not immune. There was a time when we went to go see the Boston Bruins play in Tampa, and while we're sitting there, the Tampa Bay Lightning had taken the lead. And down to my left, the next row down, there were two guys there. And when the Lightning scored twice, they turned around and said, "How do you like us now, huh? How do you like that? How do you think that is, huh? Look at that." When they stuck it in my face. Okay. It was quiet. It wasn't vile. It wasn't physical. And we just took it. Late in the game, the Bruins come back. And the Bruins win the game. And when the final horn had sounded and these guys were still there, I was the one who said, "How do you like me now? Huh?" And that was it. The guys were sitting like this. They didn't say a word. They walked out. It was all done. I mean, stuff like this happens all the time. But this is part of a problem that is happening in America right now. Here's a guy who knows he's in enemy territory, a Dodgers fan, so he's going to a Brewers game and he knows that he is going to be excoriated one way or another. He knows that he's going to take the brunt of a lot of barbs, which is fine. But if you saw the video of the incident, when the Brewers took the lead, a couple of guys turned around, they threw it in his face, they were yelling at him, they were waving at him. I mean, that's what you do, even though you don't have to be such a nasty prick when you do it. I mean, you don't have to be that nasty about it, but it happens all the time. And then when the Dodgers come back, and the Dodgers are winning the game, he gets all up as well. And he starts saying, "What's the matter, guys? Why are you not feeling good now?" And everybody around him is quiet because they're all Brewers fans. So he's egging it on a little bit there as well. He's part of it, but that's to be expected. Now, when this Karen shows up behind him, and she looks at him, and she immediately makes the decision that, well, I guess he's of Latino descent. Let's call ICE. Oh, come on. I mean, really? Why do you have to go there? I mean, that's just, again, injecting politics and bullshit into a sporting event. It was nasty. It was uncalled for. It was a racist-tinged statement that basically spoke to what fandom is becoming. And then not only that, but he gets in her face. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't curse at her, doesn't swear at her. Says basically, "Go ahead, call ICE on me, honey. I'm a war veteran." Then she reaches out and she slaps his phone with his hand. He's obviously holding it. You can see where she slaps him. People, what in the name of sweet Jesus are we becoming here? I mean, why is it that every single sporting event has got to have people like this who are so deep into the sport, so deep into what is happening, that you got to get nasty about it? It's a game, for crying out loud. You don't have to get that whacked about it. And see, she made another mistake because she knows the camera's pointing at her. She knows that he's got one of these and it's pointed right at her, and he's recording the whole thing. Yet she's still a jerk and a jackass and a moron, and she takes a shot at him, and she pulls the ice card, and she pulls out and slaps him. Guess what? You're fired. She's fired from her job. She no longer is part of Make-A-Wish. And frankly, I'm pretty close to the people at the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I'm glad she's out. I wouldn't want her as part of my board. But she knows she's going to get caught, and everybody is going to find out who she is. And you're going to get hammered one way or another. How many times has it happened where you do something stupid on social media and it comes back to bite you in the ass? The bigger issue here is it's a game, people. You can get excited. You can get into the game. You can get all fired up about it. You can root for your team. You can root against the other team. You can scream, holler, jump up and down, do whatever you want, because that's the release that we get in sports. But you don't have to be a flaming jerk to be part of it. You don't have to insult somebody. You don't have to insult their mother, their daughters, their sisters, their brothers, their wives. You don't have to get into that. You don't have to get into these ridiculous fights we've seen at NFL games this year, all over what is nothing more than a misunderstanding, or because you're too drunk off your ass and you got to take a swing at somebody because your team is losing. People, lay back. I mean, sports is beautiful. I've been doing this my whole life. I've been a part of sports. I have covered thousands of sporting events, and I hope to cover more, or at least talk about them here. I've enjoyed it. I've had a good time. When I go to a sporting event, I'm not looking to get into a fight. Well, first of all, I'm not looking to get drunk because I got to drive home, or I just don't want to be a jerk. So I'm looking to have a couple of beers, a couple of cocktails, whatever, have a good time, have a little food, enjoy myself. Look, we've been to Florida Panthers games as Boston Bruins fans where we've been hammered. I mean, we have been hammered by people. Most of them are young guys, young white guys who decide they want to go ahead and get in your face and try something. And we've been insulted and we've been tossed insults, but I laugh it off. People, stop being so upset just about a game. That's all it is. It's a game. It's fun. It's supposed to be something that we enjoy. Sit back and relax, but don't be threatening to call ICE on somebody. I got to tell you, I'm thrilled this woman was fired. Absolutely thrilled. The guy that she went after said, well, I don't know if it's the right thing. Yeah, you do. It's the right thing. She should be fired. And basically her name should be out there and people should say, oh, aren't you the woman who at the Brewers game decided to try to call ICE or threatening to call ICE on a guy because he looked maybe like he didn't look like you? Maybe he was a different color, different shade of skin. So you just went ahead and made that run and decided to call ICE on him. And you want to come to work for me? Really? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. Not in this life. She deserves everything she gets because she decided to basically toss this political bullshit into the mix. And that's endemic of what's happening right now. People are going to sporting events in America and they are concerned that they're going to be the ones dragged out. American citizens, people who are here legally, are being dragged out by ICE, are being deported, are being thrown into basic nothing more than concentration camps, if you will, holding cells. And their lives are ruined forever simply because of this desire to get all the undesirables out of here. When we're not even going after criminals, we're going after people who are at a baseball game rooting on their team. Don't you see the issue going on here? Doesn't this scare you just a little bit? I mean, seriously, I don't really care which political bend you're on. I don't. But doesn't it scare you that we've got people just going to a sporting event and because their team is winning and they're celebrating, somebody is threatening to have them thrown into a holding cell? I mean, that should scare the living crap out of you. When are they going to start coming for we white boys? What's going to be next? What's going to happen to your family? But just, it's a game. Take it easy. Don't be stupid. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a jackass. Don't be an asshole. Don't be an ass clown. Don't be any of these things. Enjoy the game for what it is. If not, then just stay home. Stay home and watch the game on TV. And as a matter of fact, the concession prices will be a lot better at home, and you won't have to worry about paying $150 for parking. Won't you feel better about that? Just enjoy the game, people. That's all it takes. Have some fun. Relax. And maybe don't wear your jersey if you know your jersey is going to be the only one in a large area. I have no idea if this guy was wearing a Dodgers jersey. If he was, he's stupid, but he has that right. You see a lot of people wearing their jerseys. Hell, when I go to games, I still wear my Brad Marchand Bruins jersey because I'm that much of a fan. I love doing it. It makes me feel good. So I know that if I'm going to a game where the Panthers are playing against the Bruins, I know I'm going to be a target. But the people there are cool. Most of them are cool for the most part. Hockey fans are all right. We respect the other team. Do the same thing. Respect the uniform. Have fun. Lay back. Don't drink as much. Maybe that's the next thing. Oh, boy. Moving on. College football and the firing of James Franklin at Penn State. James Franklin had come in and had brought Penn State to a level of success in his first years. No doubt. Penn State was in the national championship contention discussion, and this year at the beginning of the season, they were right there. They have fallen on difficult times. For whatever reason, the players don't mesh, coaches having problems, injuries, whatever the cause is. After all that success that James Franklin brought to Penn State, when it looks as if, and when it is obvious that they are not going to contend for, very likely not contend for a national championship season this year, what do? You don't just make any change. You fire the guy. But here's the key. On the way out, when you're firing the guy, make sure you tell him what a wonderful human being that he is.
James Franklin is a tremendous man, husband, father, mentor to countless student athletes, and a good friend who has always carried himself with dignity and represented Penn State with absolute class. Beyond the wins and the accolades, James has been a trusted ambassador for this university and a friend of the Penn State community. We are all incredibly fortunate to have had James Franklin lead our football program for over a decade. And we will be forever grateful to him and his family. We wish them nothing, and I mean this, I wish them nothing but success in the next chapter of their lives.
Wow. I mean, Franklin was a hell of a guy. I mean, the AD even said so. He's been a wonderful ambassador. He's helped so many kids. He's represented the program with honor. He has never gotten any kind of an issue here. Penn State has never had any kind of an issue brought down on them because of him. The guy has been absolutely what anybody would want in a head coach. You got to keep this guy, right? No. You fire him. Because you're not going to win a national championship this year. Very likely. I mean, come on, anything can happen in the playoff system anymore. But Penn State is having a tough time. And people are unhappy. So instead of the guy who has, for a decade, according to the AD, and for many years represented this program with great honor, instead of giving him the benefit of the doubt and saying, okay, got some hard times. This guy is so good, he's going to work through it. We're going to keep him. Nope. What do? You black bag him, you get him right out. Why? Because it's the way of college football. We love you, but you're fired.
At Penn State, we hold all our programs to the highest standards in our shared pursuit of excellence. My job is to evaluate everything and make hard decisions for what is in the best interest of our athletes, our program, and our department. Football is our backbone. We've invested at the highest level. With that comes high expectations. Ultimately, I believe a new leader can help us win a national championship. And now is the right time for this change.
When you talk about doing the right thing for the program and the right thing for the players, wouldn't the right thing be keeping a guy that you know loves to be there, has dedicated himself to the program, has won for you in the past, and he's having a bad time right now for a few games, so you're going to fire him right away? What an absolute, unbelievable, undeniable crock of bullshit from Pat Kraft. I mean, you couldn't dig deeper into the bullshit if you tried. But then again, that's all it is these days. It is not about loyalty. We don't care. James Franklin was good for the players. He was good for the program. He represented Penn State to the nth degree. The guy did everything he could, so he's having a bad time, and you're fired. Simply because it's all about the money, damn it. It's not about anything else. You can sit there, Kraft, and you can tell everybody what a wonderful guy Franklin is or was. You can tell him how he's a personal friend, how I wish him the best. Certainly it'll be easy for the best because A, he's going to get another job somewhere else who hopefully will come in and beat the tar out of you, and B, he's going to have a great buyout one way or the other, so he's going to be just fine. It's not as if you're cutting him loose and he's going to all of a sudden be out on the streets begging for a cheeseburger. No, he's going to be just fine. But all these platitudes you heap on him and all this wonderment and all these great things, we got to fire him because our money is at stake. Football's our backbone, damn it, that's right. If football doesn't succeed, we don't succeed. Let's go ahead and teach every kid, every student, everybody out there that the most important thing is winning a football game, not having somebody at the head of that football program that you can admire and that can be admired. Hey, who knows what you're going to get now? You could absolutely get trash somewhere else. You could get somebody who's got a winning record, but then what are they going to be in a few years? Are you just going to wait a few more years and fire somebody? Look, coaches right now are getting about 3-4 years tops. If you can't prove yourself by then, you're out. In college football, it used to be you're there for 10 or 20 years. Not anymore, because you got to win. You got to make money. That's what this is all about. What Kraft needs to come up and do, and this is, I would love to see an athletic director. If you're going to fire somebody, if you're going to pull this, get right up in front of people and say, James Franklin was a wonderful guy, but we got to make money. This is all about money. We can't exist without a lot of money. And to have a lot of money, we have to win. Now, because the team's not winning this year, we're not going to do very well this year. We're not going to contend for that championship. Granted, we're still going to get a ton of money from the boosters, from the fans, from the sponsors, from the television networks. We're going to be swimming in cash. It's not as if we're all of a sudden, just because he lost a few games, that we're going to fall right out of favor and everybody is going to abandon Penn State. That's not going to happen. Penn State lives in people's bloodstreams. It's there. They're always going to follow their team. They're going to get angry. They're going to get pissed. They're going to say, you got to fire the guy? Okay, you fired the guy. What next? Like the next step is going to be perfect. I just want him to get up and say, guys, it's all about the money. Be honest. Be honest. Franklin didn't deserve this. See, I have no cross to bear. I have no anger against Penn State. I don't care. I got very tied up in the Joe Paterno-Sandusky issues many years ago and took a lot of heat for it because of what I knew and what I reported at the time and what I reported on what other people were saying at the time as well. I had Penn State friends who abandoned me, said, I'm never talking to you again because you helped railroad Joe Pa and Sandusky out of their jobs. When they knew that little boys were being molested in the shower. Okay, we'll just kind of leave it at that. But Franklin didn't deserve this. There's a lot of coaches that don't deserve this. And again, I'm sure he's not that upset. In one sense, I'm sure he is. But he knew this was coming. It's not as if there's any room for any error anymore because football is everything. If we don't win at football, if we don't make the money, we got to fire somebody. And hey, look, Penn State fans, I hope you're happy. I hope you still win. I hope you get what you want. But the money race in college football is obscene right now. Where really good people, self-described people, people who you want in your program, people whom an athletic director says is exactly the kind of person that we want leading this program, is fired because you didn't win. What does that say to all the other coaches down the line? Gee, if I don't win, I'm out. It says it not only to the basketball program, the baseball program, the softball program, the volleyball, the swimming team, the golf team. Hey, if I don't do well, I'm out. When sometimes shit happens. Okay? Sometimes great teams have a down moment. Sometimes you have, and as we're recording this show, I'm sitting here with the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers have lost 3 straight games. In the beginning of the season, even though it's an 80-plus game season, that means a lot. You're going to fire the coach? No, he's won you a couple of Stanley Cups. I understand that Franklin hasn't won a national championship recently. He doesn't have 2 or 3 of them in his pocket. But it sure as hell seemed to me like what the AD was describing. He's a guy you would want in your program, and you want to keep him, and you want him happy, and you want him winning for many years. It seems that way, but it's not. Because that's what college football is all about. If you don't win, you're out. Even though you're really the right person for the job. Moving on, staying in college football, and when it comes down to coaches and the potential of being fired, there is no doubt, not one instance question whatsoever, that Billy Napier is going to be fired at the University of Florida. Even he knows it. How would you like to go ahead and come to your office every single day knowing that it might be your last? And it's probably going to be in the next couple of weeks. But I want you to listen to what I heard from the student radio station in Gainesville, Florida, with an opinion, and I want you to pay close attention to what is said in this.
Fact of the matter is that when the Florida job comes open, it will immediately be the best job probably on the open market. I think it's them and Penn State is probably a tier of their own. They're the top tier jobs that are open. Now, Florida State comes open. If Auburn comes open, then you start to get into some of those same coaches that would be potentially competing for this Florida job. But I don't know that fans can get totally bent out of shape when you look at the way that the schedule has broken down, the way that things have gone here at the University of Florida this season. I'm not seeing the same thing maybe as the need, just go ahead and get it done. I get ripping the Band-Aid off if you've decided he can't take you where you need to go. Not arguing that. What I'm saying is it's homecoming week. Enjoy the festivities. Live in the kumbaya land for one more week. And then I expect that we'll probably get some sort of announcement going into the bye week ahead of the Georgia game.
Rah, rah, sis, boom, bah. Let's go ahead and enjoy homecoming in Gainesville this week. Yeah, let's have a great time while this guy is basically walking out onto the field and he's already got the moving vans up because Billy Napier knows he's going to be fired. Come on. The thing that was said in that conversation was said right at the top. That when it becomes open, the University of Florida football job will be, and I'll quote, the best job on the open market. Now, what do you base that on? I'm going to be serious here, and this is for Gators fans and for college football fans as well. What do you base that on? Because if you look at the recent history at the University of Florida with the coaches and how little loyalty has been displayed and the bad decisions that Florida Gators management has made over whom to lead this football program, you start to realize that this may not be the best job on the open market. I mean, hell, there might be better jobs somewhere else. They might not pay as much, but they're maybe going to be a little bit better if you don't want to keep packing up the moving vans. Here, since Urban Meyer left the Gators in 2010, Will Muschamp was the coach for 49 games. He went 28-21. Fired. DJ Durkin came in as the interim for 1 game, and he won that game. Interim, though. You don't really count the interims. They then went on a national search, which they do every single time. And they brought up Jim McElwain. Jim McElwain coached 34 games at Florida. He went 22-12. Fired. Randy Shannon comes in as an interim coach for 4 games and goes 1-3. Another national search comes up, finding the best coach, Dan Mullen, who we'll talk about another day how he has succeeded since leaving Florida. Dan Mullen comes in and coaches 49 games. He goes a pretty damn good 34-15. But you couldn't consistently win that SEC title, and we haven't seen another national championship, so he's fired. Greg Knox comes in as an interim coach for one game and wins the one game. Another national search happens. It's getting tiring here. Billy Napier comes in, 38 games, and as we record this show right now, he's 19-19, and he's going to be fired. Obviously, out of the last 4 coaches, Napier has had the worst time. But each one of these coaches were sold to Florida fans as being the best we can find. National search. You can go back and you can find every single press conference introducing these coaches. You're going to find out that they were called the next leader. They were called the person who was going to lead Florida back to the SEC title, to the national championship. Every single one of these guys was the coach for us. 3-4 seasons gone, they're out. Do you consider that the best job on the open market? If you're sitting out there as a pretty good coach right now, and you got a good reputation, and you're looking to take that next step up, where do you go? If the Florida job comes open and they contact you, obviously you're going to talk to them. You're not going to just turn them down. But are you going to also keep in mind that this is just a temporary gig? This is a stepping stone. Because other coaches have done badly after they've left. Some, as I mentioned, have done very well. But why do you want to put yourself through it? The University of Florida football job is not the best job on the open market. Might be the highest paying. It certainly has the greatest possibility. Because look, if you win at Florida, if you become an SEC champion, still considered to be the best conference in college football, and if you contend for a national championship, you have got a global base of followers, and that Gator Nation will follow and love you, and you will be able to mark your calendar and say, here comes my contract extension. Here's more millions. I'm going to make it here. It's a great place to coach football because people love their football in Gainesville and at Florida. They are passionate. They could be the most passionate fans I have ever come across covering college football. But it's not the best job on the open market because it shows absolutely no loyalty from the management side. It shows absolutely no wherewithal on being able to pick the right guy for the job. It's almost like they have to settle and take somebody that we think is going to be the best. I mean, look, if you're a University of Florida football fan and you want to blame somebody, don't blame Billy Napier. Blame the clowns at the top. Blame the athletic department. Blame the presidents. Blame the people who are making the coaching decisions here and who are making the hiring decisions. They're the ones screwing up. They're the ones that have left you with 4 coaches since the last guy who won a national championship left. And oh yeah, by the way, we could always get into it one way or another, but Urban Meyer really personified the convicts in football with the way he ran that program. He left that program in a shambles. And people still think about him as the great leader because he won titles for them. That's all it takes. It absolves all the sins. But if you can't win at Florida, you're out. It's the same. Look, and I'm not going to say that this is just the Gators. It's the way it is at every program. If you don't win at Miami, Penn State, Nebraska, Oregon, Alabama, if you don't win the Arkansas, if you don't win these places, you're going to be fired. But your life expectancy as a head coach there used to be maybe 5-7 years. Now it's 2 or 3 years tops. If you can't win, you're out. And the fans are going to be right behind the school going, yeah, damn it, get him out. 3 years and we haven't seen anything. I mean, the basic thinking right now is the first year's a gimme. The second year, you better do better. And by the third year, you better contend. That's the way it is. But at many schools, when you have the kind of money that you have, the kind of wherewithal, the kind of fan base that you have, you say that your first year, you better do well because there are good players there. And that second year, you better be contending. It no longer gives you that third year. So I take umbrage with the young man at WRUF, which called this the best job in the open market. It is the most lucrative. It has the possibility to be the most lucrative. It has the possibility to be a life-changing event for whomever the coach is. But if you're looking for an organization that you can get involved in and trust the organization to have your back during tough times, it's not Florida. It's not Penn State. It's not Arkansas. It's not a lot of these other schools, because they got to win now. They got to make the money. And hiring a coach and just paying that stupid buyout, whatever it is, the 30, 40, $50 million, pocket change. We got lots of money. We can go ahead and spend it and get them out of here, and we can try to win a title. And if we don't, we'll fire them and start again. Florida fans, stand up. Get pissed. I mean, really get pissed. But don't be pissed at Billy. You can be pissed at Billy Napier. But be angrier at the management, the athletic department, who has basically given you, since the year 2010, 15 years of mediocrity by making bad decisions and bad choices when it comes to the person who run that program. That's the problem. Anymore, I'm not even willing to blame a lot of coaches. I'm willing to blame the people at the top for making these bad mistakes. A topic for another day. Moving on, finally. I look at social media this week. Once again, we find ourselves grabbed by all the various memes and idiocy and nonsense that goes out there. When it comes to social media and sports, you got to stop believing what you see, because most of it is bullshit. For instance, here's one that leads off. This is from a group called We Love Patriots, basically saying that Drake May, loud and clear about the NFL's decision to have Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl in the halftime show. And if you look, there's over 3,000 people liking it. If you read it, there's actually people who believe that Drake May said this. Drake May is a guy right now on the rise. He's not going to screw with his NFL career by saying something about the halftime show. And what does he care about the halftime show? He's never going to see it. But because he's a name, they throw it out there. People fall for it. Next up, Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam has been involved in a lot of social media. And here's basically another one. But this one goes after Bad Bunny, again, not standing up at Yankee Stadium for God Bless America. Haslam never said it, just like May never said it. And by the way, I think there's a distinct possibility that Jimmy Haslam may have some other things to be worried about other than giving a shit about a God Bless America standing up at Yankee Stadium and a guy who never did it. He doesn't care. Not at all. Even though he gets hammered again. And here's another one with new pictures. But this one's about Charlie Kirk and Turning Point. And how Jimmy Haslam's gotten involved. Look, the only turning point that Haslam's worried about right now is turning a rotten franchise around and maybe getting them to win one playoff game. Just one. Just one. And not having anybody talk about Shedeur Sanders. More bullshit. Moving on. Dale Earnhardt Jr. I'm seeing a lot of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s because he's All-American, baby. He's NASCAR. Snarl, snarl. He, too, is in here talking about Charlie Kirk. I'm an American. I'd rather take part in the All-American halftime show. He never said that. Of course he didn't say that. Dale Earnhardt Jr. doesn't give a shit. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s got other things to worry about, like how to spend his money and getting involved in another lawsuit with his stepmother. Come on, people. And I can't tell you how many people fell for this as well. And finally, on that side, hey, if you're going to go after Bad Bunny, which you are going to see multitudes of in the next couple of months, this one brings in Carrie Underwood, who's also upset that he didn't stand for God Bless America. If he doesn't like America, then leave, according to Carrie. Well, if you don't like Carrie Underwood's music, then leave. You must not be American if you don't like Carrie Underwood. Let's get Carrie there in the halftime. Let's make that work. Do you people who say this stuff, do you shave your underarms? Do you shave your body? Get the back hair off your back sometimes? Do you still drag your knuckles? And do you enjoy it? That's the question. I did want to bring this up because you may recall that everybody was lit up earlier this year when this woman at the Philadelphia Phillies game was unhappy when a guy took a home run ball and went after him, and the guy basically gave it up. He gave it to his kid. He gave it to her. Well, she's called the Phillies Karen. And now, of course, according to this post, she's filing a lawsuit against Major League Baseball. First of all, the meme is bullshit. Of course it is. Complete and total bullshit. But I have a bigger question. Whatever happened to her? Where'd she go? Are you telling us that in this society where we know everything and anything about everybody and where social media tells us exactly who a person is, we haven't found her yet? I want to know. I want to know what happened to her. Was she a plant? Was she a spy? Was she a Norwegian alien here illegally who's still trying to hide in America? How does this happen, man? We need to find out who she is. And I'll say this again. I will offer to Philly's Karen, whomever you are, wherever you are, you get in touch with me. I will have you on the show. We will blot out your face. We will blot out your name. And we will just talk about the incident and we will get your side of it. I promise you, journalistic ethic, we will not reveal your name. As a matter of fact, you can get in touch with me and use a fake name. I don't care. But the forum here is open, a global forum for you to tell your side of the story without absolutely ever having to worry about who you are. We want your story, Karen. We need to know. America is still literally hanging on the edge every day. Because while the story may have disappeared, you certainly didn't. We feel for you, Karen. We are your friends. We are the ones who want to make it right. We are the ones. We are Jim Kirk. We are the ones who care about you. Karen, tell us who you are. Please tell us who you are. And I'll tell you what, I'll even sweeten the pot. If Karen comes on my show, I will donate $1,000 to an animal rescue or charity of her choosing in her name. No questions asked. Now, you got to prove you're Karen, because I know I'm going to get, I guarantee I'm going to get a lot of people who are going to say they are Karen. You're going to have to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I know how we can prove it, but I'm not going to say it here. But you have the open forum to be here, Karen. Tell America your story. Nothing is more important than that. Oh, sorry. I mean it, Karen. Doors open anytime you want. By the way, if you do want to get in touch with us, don't forget that all of these videos are posted on YouTube. Get down into the comments section and comment away. It's the best and the quickest way to get in touch with me. If you want to send an email, send one to fastestshowinsports@gmail.com. Also, make sure you pick up all the YouTube channel, get everything that's there. Make sure you go to the audio podcast, and make sure you can listen to the show on all the major podcast platforms. Please subscribe to us, especially on the YouTube channel. Help us grow. Help us bring in some new stuff. We got some new stuff coming up that's actually going to be pretty fun. I have one of the best NBA analysts ever who's going to come on and say some things that NBA fans didn't think you would hear anybody say. But that's another story for another day. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us right here on the Fastest Show in Sports. Don't forget, watch us on YouTube, listen to us across the podcast platform, wherever you are, and comment in the comments sections on YouTube. For the Fastest Show in Sports, everybody here at Fuzzy Dogs Productions, I'm Ed Berliner. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Rock on, true believers. Until next time, see ya.
Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports.